Oh wow, Sherlock season finale. What was that? I mean, come on. Wow. Reactions and reviews are so mixed and different that everyone on the internet is confused. And why is that? Because, you know, there were so many things that in the opinion of the others, well, actually some of the fans, that needed to happen and didn't. So that's one of the reasons. And let me explain it to you. There are actually lots of things that are needed to explain and are needed to actually talked about. And you know, um, we have to actually make a list about them. So let's get to our list and check out my review. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about are the actors. Uh, well, in my opinion, they were perfect. But the thing is that you can't see them, uh, you know, any other than this. You expect to see them better and better. So the point is that they are brilliant because this is their job, and we expect them to be brilliant. And they were absolutely awesome, and it was breathtaking. And actually, the actress who played Euros, Sion Brook, I guess. I don't know if I have pronounced her name right. She was awesome. She played really, really beautiful, and the details of her acting was absolutely astonishing, and it was beautiful, just beautiful. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is screenwriting. It was beautiful, but it wasn't perfect. It actually had some plot holes and problems, because the thing is, at the first of the episode, we saw them that they told Mycroft that Euros was free, and she actually shot John. But after later in the episode, we didn't see them actually explaining, well, how was the shooting, how John is now alive. So this is one of the plot holes. It wasn't explained how that happened, how was the shooting, and how did it go on. So we don't know, and I think the episode 3 was so intense, and a lot of things happened that we actually some sort of got lost. So the first shooting is one of my problem, and then there was when John was in the well, he was chained, and we saw him that he was trying so hard to get out of there, but he couldn't because he was chained, obviously. But then when they were saving him, when they some sort of he got the rope, he just got out really easy, like there was no chain at all. Then what happened to the chain? So this is one of my other problems. The other thing is that Euros, well, I have to again say that it was played brilliantly. But the thing is that yes, we know she's a genius, but up till the very last moment of the episode, we see her like a machine, not like a human. It's just a glimpse of being a human, because she was saying that I needed a best friend too. And before that, she wasn't just a human. She was, you know, really weird but genius, really genius actually, cleverer than Mycroft and Sherlock. But then, in the very last moment, we saw her in the dark end room, and yes, she's a psychopath, but what happened? She was, designing all these puzzles and playing with everyone's mind. But at that second, what happened? She was so miserable and so helpless. So, how that person, so sad and so helpless, can do those things and be at the same time that much genius? It's a bit impossible. And, and how did she do that? It wasn't explained very well, that how did she do all these things. And this is one of my major problems. And the thing is that when she was on the plane, was it like her mind palace? And if it was, then how did she talk through the cell phone with Sherlock, and when John and Mycroft used to hear her voice? So what happened there? Was the plane real, or was all the screens the Sharon Fort real, and or was all of them high? I mean, it's sort of a thing that it's, yeah, I think it's so complicated, and there are lots going on in this 1 hour and a half that they weren't explained very well, in my opinion. They were some of the things that really got my attention. One of my favorite things in movies is music. I pay too much attention on music and soundtrack of the movies. I actually love them, and I think it was really beautiful. It was brilliant. It was passionate, and emotionally awesome. I just can't say how much I loved the score. It was just brilliant, and cinematography and editing, they were both really well, absolutely brilliantly done. It was so cool, and I really liked it. Especially, I actually personally love the slow motion scenes. I enjoy them, but only if they are at the right moment. And in my opinion, in the last episode of Sherlock, the slow motion scenes were on the right time, and they were beautiful, and I really loved them. One of the other things that got my serious attention was when Euros saw for the first time Sherlock's playing the violin. She said that you had sex, and I was like, what? Who? And then I was thinking that it really who can be, because it can't be the woman, because, well, she's far away, or isn't she? And Sherlock in the second episode said that it's just texting. So I don't think it could be the woman. And we can have, I guess, two choices. Um, well, the first one actually can be Molly. And why I said that, because when uh, he called Molly, the scene, that I love you scene, um, Molly was really, really angry and pissed off by Sherlock. And she was having lemon. And why? Uh, I know lemon and tea, the thing, but when you're sick and you don't feel pretty well, you will use lemon. And she said that she didn't have a good day, and what if he was with Molly and Molly was pregnant? I don't know. It's not that much possible. I know it's a bit mad, but yeah, it could be Molly actually. The other could be John, I guess. Um, yeah, because it actually makes sense. I don't know, but I think it must be one of these two. So I don't know. Um, do you know? One of the most important things that we saw in this episode was emotions. Not just Sherlock, but actually Mycroft as well. Because we learned that they are not that emotionless. And Sherlock, among his brother and his sister, is the most, uh, you know, emotionally involved in things. Uh, and he may not be the cleverest among them, but he is, you know, not the smartest, but he's actually some sort of a winner, because he's more emotionally involved, because he lets his emotions to be involved. Now, we may just see this in this episode, but it was there through all this time, and through the very first episode in the very first series. But we did see that, but we didn't observe. It was shown very rapidly and very quick. It was a glance. We didn't have to notice. We weren't noticed, but as the series went through and in the episodes, we found that he gets his emotions. He gets too much actually into his emotions, and I think that's the point, that why he's the winner. Actually, not the winner. I mean, because he's more successful as being a human being, and yeah, this is what I think. One of the things that actually got some of the people very, very, very angry is the, well, so many people expected to see John Locke. Well, I have to say to all those angry people that you see but you do not observe. The thing is that in the first series, in The Blind Banker, we saw that we saw the first thing, that it's not that actually in The Blind Banker, the very first episode, Studying Pink, we saw that how they got into some sort of not, I would say, yeah, it's some sort of a relationship, yes, but it's in a friend zone, actually. But the glances that they have between them and those smiles, it's the first thing that we see between them. And then in the blind banker, when John goes shopping and he can't buy things, and Sherlock says, "Take my card." And then in the second series, in The Hounds of Baskerville, when John is some sort of mad and angry about Sherlock, and he says, "You're my friend," and he's trying to, you know, prove to John that he likes him and he knows him as his friend and best friend. And then in the Reichenbach Fall, when they're arrested, we see when they're running, Sherlock says, "Take my hand." And well, everyone was happy back then. And then in the third series, we have those beautiful moments in the second episode, The Sign of Three. The best man speech and the hug. We did have that. And after that, in this fourth series, we saw in the second episode that Sherlock again hugged John. And after that, in this very last episode, at the very last moment, we did see that beautiful. I actually loved that scene when Sherlock was had John's baby, and he had such beautiful smile, just like that, and pointing to John, and then giving the baby to John. It was beautiful, and it's like a puzzle. If you keep them together, you can have that John Locke thing that you want to have. And you can't fool yourself, because at the very first time they told that they will not give us the thing that we want from John Locke. And the scene about the Molly, it was that was actually emotionally beautiful as well, when Sherlock broke the coffin. It was beautiful. He was so done manipulated, and you know, that "I love you" scene was genius. You know why? Because he did once said "I love you," but he didn't have to say it again. And when he said it again, it was full of emotions. The second time, it was full of emotions. So it shows that he actually loves Molly. But there, as we all know, there are different kinds of loving. There are not just one type. So loving John may be in a different way than loving Molly. That's what I say, and that is actually the point. And I think John Locke shippers mustn't be that mad. They just have to keep these things and parts together to reach what they want. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is the end. It was ended like it's end of the whole series, and like, it's okay, Sherlock, bye bye. Like, no. The fandom was like, no. Who would like this series to be ended? No one, because it's beautiful and it has huge fandom, and it's awesome, and no one likes it to end. But the ending, you know, it wasn't that loose ending. It wasn't cliffhanger like previous series. Uh, so it can be mean that it's the end and it's done. And it was beautiful. I really loved it. It was emotional, beautiful. I had tears most of the times in my eyes, but I really don't want that to happen. No one uh, wants that to happen. And I was searching through the internet, and in Wikipedia I saw that in January 2014, Moffat stated that a fifth series had been plotted by himself and Gatiss, with Cumberbatch confirming he was signed for a fifth series. So this is a hope. And in the screening of the third episode, I think Gatiss had stated that it's the end of the final problem, not the end of the world. I guess he said something like that. And well, I hope it's true, and it means that we can have another series at least before we die, because it gets a lifetime to have another series of Sherlock, and it's just 3 episodes. I mean, come on. And yeah, the internet is literally on fire right now. So, what do you think about the episode? This is what I think, and let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.